Good afternoon. I'm Noel van der Walt from the Cybersecurity Institute, and today I'm going to be talking about cybersecurity best practices for individuals. A little bit about me. I'm the Strategy and Innovation Officer at the Cybersecurity Institute. We have a governance, risk and compliance practice, as well as a cybersecurity training academy. The aim of today's talk is to assist you with some pivotal practices in terms of securing your privacy and data, secure remote working, and securing your home office environment. To this end, we're going to be covering topics which include phishing, password security, encryption, backups, VPN and public Wi-Fi, QR codes, patching and updates, and malware protection. Of course, there's always more to talk about, but with limited time, I selected these as some of the critical best practices that you can deploy in order to protect yourself better. So starting with phishing, something we hear about all the time. What is phishing? Phishing is a common type of cyber attack. It targets individuals and it plays on your emotions. In other words, it's a psychological rather than a technological vector. It's launched through means of emails, SMSs, sometimes phone calls. That's phishing, a different type of communication. What's it trying to get you to do? It's trying to get you to reveal sensitive information, either to gain access to a network using your credentials or access to something like your bank accounts. It's very dangerous and it's one of the most common cyber attacks, and we've all experienced it. When we look at phishing, it's not always easy to tell when you're being phished. In fact, it's becoming exponentially more difficult, especially with the help of AI. Typically, you would look for some alerts to help you make decisions. The first is that the phisher usually requests some type of sensitive information. In an email form, this often comes with a link or an attachment. In an SMS format, you might find, for example, that you get an SMS that says, "Parcel you ordered is being delivered today. Click here to get more information." You didn't deliver a parcel. Don't click on the link. This is how it goes. Sometimes, if you are being phished, a spoofed website will open that looks, for example, like your bank website. Typically, the banks will never include a link to their website in any kind of phishing email. If a bank mails you, there's not going to be a link to their website in that mail. Don't click on links. Secondly, because it plays on your emotions, it may include an offer that's really too good to be true. You've inherited something, won something, or it's a special offer for a product that you like to use that you just can't turn down. Or you're urged to take fast action, sometimes because if you don't, it's going to be punitive. In this case, it might be your bank telling you, ostensibly, that you need to update certain security information. Or it looks like a letter from the South African Revenue Services telling you that you owe them money. All these types of things are there to play on your emotions. If you're unsure, don't click on the link, don't download anything, and call your bank or SARS or the sender who it's ostensibly from to find out what the email is about. If it's someone phoning you and they're telling you to act under pressure, tell them this is not a good time, they need to phone you back. And then go away and think about what's just happened. Play for time. The next thing is passwords. And you will, I'm no doubt, have heard about the importance of password security. Why are passwords so important? Well, alongside phishing, they're really what criminals are after, to be able to get into your sensitive accounts or into your company's network. And it's really important that you practice strong password hygiene. One way to do this is by always making use of biometrics authentication or multiple factor authentication where you have that available. For example, for your Gmail, Facebook, or whatever. Common password mistakes to avoid. All too easy here. Easy to guess passwords. Your children's names, your pets' names, something including your date of birth. These are easy to guess, but you'd be surprised how many people are still using passwords like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are no-goes. Make your passwords strong and unique using alphanumerical characters. Don't use the same password across multiple accounts. Now, this is easier than it sounds. We all have far too many accounts we have to log into, and to have a whole list of up to something like between 20 and 50 different passwords, that's difficult. Some people make use of a password keeper. This is advised if you feel technologically able to do that. Other people might use their little black book and write their passwords down in it. Not always a good idea, but if you've got a good place to store that, for example, your safe, it might be better, or it will be better than using one or two passwords across all the different sites. Because if that password is crap, bang, they're into everything. Then sharing passwords again. Some people share passwords in an office situation where they're all working on the same system. Not a good idea at all. Storing your passwords in plain text. That means writing them down and you've got a post-it note on your desk, or you've saved a file on the desktop with all your passwords in it. That's a no-go. The next thing is not updating your passwords regularly. You really do need to take care of that, especially with critical sites where something like Google, you may have Gmail, but you're also making use of Google Drive, etc. There's a lot of information there. Make sure you update that password regularly. And then, of course, when a site asks you, would you like to log into the site making use of your Facebook password, your Google password, your Yahoo password, never do that. You're actually entering now through third-party apps. Really not a good idea. A little bit on encryption, and I think encryption is really underused, especially in South Africa. What does encryption do for you? You always have to be cognizant of the fact that one of your devices may well be stolen, whether it's your phone or your laptop or your iPad. In this case, if you have encrypted your data, once it's stolen, yes, you've lost your device, but at least the criminals cannot get into your data. What is encryption? It essentially scrambles your information from being in plain text into encrypted text. Nobody can read it. It's garbage to them. Something like Windows comes with BitLocker encryption as part of the operating system, and you can enable it. And then only you have the key to unlock that data. The same, for example, with an iPhone, it comes with encryption that you can use. Play around with it and start using it. It's really, really important. The same goes for something like remote wiping set up for your cell phones should they get stolen. Backups. All too often we know that we haven't backed up our data. And this isn't just about your laptop getting stolen. This is about the day your device crashes on you as well and you lose all your information. Where do you back up your data to? Well, the best place is usually a cloud service. You may have access to OneDrive through your Office 365 environment, Google Drive, iCloud if you're using Apples or Macs. So in that sense, make a plan, put a directory in that cloud, call it a backup, and back up your data. How often should you back it up? Depends how much work you do in a day, but at least every single week you should make a fresh backup of all your important data. And for that reason, also stay organized on your computer, have a proper directory structure so that you can take a whole lot together and back up your data. Try not to just, for example, store stuff all over your desktop, etc. You can also, if you don't have cloud, think about buying something like a terabyte. You can also encrypt that terabyte, back up your data to that, store it in the safe. A word on flash drives, USB drives, don't use these to back up important data. Flash drives in a household tend to have quite a high turnover. Everybody often uses them. They sometimes have viruses on them, especially if you've been using them in other people's machines, etc. But they frequently get damaged quite easily or lost because they're small. So avoid using flash drives to back up your data. Now, VPN and public Wi-Fi. We hear about VPNs, we don't always use them. Virtual private networks. If you purchase an antivirus solution, very often it comes with a VPN service as well, which you can turn on and off. You definitely need to use VPN when you're traveling, if you're hopping on public Wi-Fi at airports and hotels, etc. If you're making use of public Wi-Fi from restaurants, but also from home when you're doing remote work, especially connecting to the enterprise network, etc. This prevents interception. In many cases, our home routers are not as secure as we think they are. We've got a third party that's installed that router that's managing it. We do not know how good their security practices are, so use a VPN in that sense. Also, do not use public Wi-Fi without a VPN service, especially something like your banking apps. It's really, really easy to intercept. QR codes. These are a fact of modern life. We have the situation now, frequently you'll go into a restaurant and they'll no longer have a menu. They'll ask you to scan a QR code to place your order. So you can't always get around these things, but you can always ask and say, look, I don't really want to do that. Can you please give me a menu? In which case they may oblige. But frequently we click on QR codes or scan QR codes. We don't really need to. This might be because you've been offered a special offer or to enter a competition. What are the risks that QR codes pose to us? Well, cyber criminals love them because they can embed a lot of information and malware inside QR codes. And sometimes they even actually post fake stickers over QR codes in public places, and you then go and scan them. QR codes, with the malware that's implanted into them, capable of doing everything from scanning your hard drive, collecting all your personal data, collecting all your technology data, exposing your financial data, your credit card numbers, and they can also embed malware on your computer for persistent presence by cyber criminals. So please be careful and very judicious about QR code use. Then we have patching and updates. So updates, most of us understand. I'll get to them next. Patching is very specific. So software companies will release security patches once they have discovered vulnerability in their software, which can be exploited by cyber criminals. They then patch that vulnerability and they alert everyone. Usually the software will prompt you and say, a security update is required, please update urgently. You should heed that advice. Also on your mobile phones, patch immediately when you get a security update. Then we have software updates, also critical. Software updates, 1, will make your device run better. 2, could include also security patches in them. You all understand how the Windows update works. It prompts you, you update it, it takes time. Yes, it often doesn't happen at a convenient time, but it has to happen. And the same for your mobile devices. Very, very important. If your operating system software is out of date, you are at risk of your device crashing, but also at cyber risk. So make those updates as soon as they become available. A word of caution here, you will never get an email from your software vendor, from Windows, from Apple, whoever, saying, here's an update, click on this link. It won't come in the form of an email. It will prompt you from the software on your device itself. If you get an email about a software update, don't click on it. Also, please make sure that you always use licensed, up-to-date software. If you're still using something like Windows 7, you are really at risk. So use the latest software and make sure it's licensed. And for the same reason, avoid free versions of software. Not a good idea. Finally, we get to malware protection, or what most people would refer to as antivirus software. Antivirus software is really, really important. It's your primary line of defense on a technological level. But you will always need to remain personally vigilant, especially for phishing, which relies on emotional manipulation and bypasses normal technology defenses. So it's a dual mode that you need to deploy the whole time. A robust antivirus solution should come from a reputable vendor. Use a paid-for version and not a free downloadable version, because free versions don't contain most of what you need to remain safe. Antivirus software performs a range of functions on your computer while you're busy working. Firstly, it checks any new software that you download and install, as well as documents that you download and install for embedded malware. Secondly, it continually scans your system to make sure no malware is running in the background or has been installed. Thirdly, it updates regularly with latest virus strings to be able to scan for the newest virus threats. So never turn those updates off when they're busy downloading. And finally, it will warn you when you visit a website that is suspicious, especially those designed for phishing. A word on this, please don't download free software, free music, free movies, or visit torrenting sites. These are extremely dangerous and often contain malware. In short, you need to maintain excellent cyber hygiene always and deploy the latest antivirus software. When you do purchase antivirus software, make sure that you also install it on your cell phone, your laptop, your iPad, and your computer. In closing, I'd like to thank you for listening to this lecture and wish you happy, safe online working. Stay safe out there. Thank you.